Gizmo, are you gonna sit for the people? What do you think? Hmm? Hey y'all, this is Kim, the Public Health Guru, coming to you today, sharing with you some things I wish I had known before I pursued my graduate degree in public health. And I'm not here to worry you long, in the words of an old Baptist preacher. I'm not here to worry you long. I just want to share with you all some of what I wish I knew before I started my graduate degree in public health. Now, I will say that some of my public health friends helped me compose this list, of which I 100% totally agree with, because a lot of this stuff I wish somebody would have told me that before I actually started my graduate degree in public health. Number one, you can major in anything during your undergraduate studies to pursue a graduate degree in public health. And I had to talk slow because my thoughts are moving faster than I'm speaking. And people tell me that I talk too fast. But going back to the first point, that you can major in anything that you want to, as long as you take the prerequisite courses, meaning the classes that are required by the program and or university that you plan to pursue your graduate degree studies in. So, for example, I went to FAMU for undergraduate. Go Rattlers. If you know, you know. October 3rd, 1887. What? And so, say I would have majored in psychology. That wasn't my major, but I'm just throwing it out there. Say I majored in psychology, and then I decided I wanted to pursue a graduate degree in public health. Okay, cool. No problem. I would have had to meet the prereqs. So for giggles, let's say I wanted to go to the Morehouse School of Medicine and get into that graduate degree program there. Just using that as an example. Say I wanted to go there with my psychology degree. I would do my research, look at all of the classes that Morehouse required me to take to even apply, and make sure that I meet those requirements, and then, of course, take the GRE and meet whatever other qualifications they have mentioned there. But it's as simple as that. I know that sounds of course, it's easier said than done, but you can pretty much major in anything. That's the bottom line. You can major in anything as long as you take those prereq courses of the program or institution that you desire to enter into. Number two, it is very important to network. And by networking, I mean being very intentional with your networking. So a little backstory behind me: I'm a social person by nature. There are a lot of places that my mouth and my conversation have gotten me into that I had no business there. I can honestly say that, no business there. Whether it be jobs, interviews, speaking engagements, whatever. There's a lot of places that my mouth got me into that I had no business there. It is very important to network. And this goes to anybody, not just public health, anybody in whatever career, job, whatever you hustle, whatever it is that you are out to pursue. It is very, very, very important to network. And people always like to say, I keep my circle small. And I used to live by that for a very long time. However, I saw the importance of getting out there and talking to people who have similar interests as you, talking to people who may be able to put you in front of somebody who could be very beneficial to you. Now, I will warn you against these seeking relationships or one-sided relationships. And what I mean by one-sided relationships, meaning that you are only engaging with this person for one simple reason, with reference to trying to get something. Your end goal is to try to, say for instance, you want to work at CDC, and the only reason that you're talking to this person is because they work at CDC. People can see right through that. But when you are genuine and you have a genuine interest in what it is that this person does, and you all connect on that level, the importance of networking will get you Networking will get you in places that you don't even deem yourself qualified to be. Take it from me. God, take it from me. The next thing, I would say, For people who are pursuing or even going through graduate studies in public health, the importance of building a portfolio. So one of my good friends gave me this particular point of things that we wish we knew before we started our higher education or graduate studies in public health, because as you know, or you may not know, during undergrad you write a lot of papers and it's cool. Excuse me, you're getting through the program, or you're getting through whatever it is that you have majored in, I'll say that. And so then you decide that you want to pursue a degree in public health. Cool, you get into that public health program and you get a number of assignments where you have to write a number of different things on a number of different topics, or even produce a number of different products as a result of the program that you're in. I would encourage you, let me get my pen, to make that portfolio or those writings very intentional. Intentional meaning find your point of interest in the things that you write about, and put that into your coursework. Especially when you're given the opportunity. They just give you a broad assignment and they ask you, say for instance, they want you to build an evaluation plan for a community health program in your community. Okay, so if your interest is what's going on right now, the panorama. If your interest is health equity and COVID resources in I don't know, Waycross, Georgia, if that's of interest to you, if that's where you hope to go and make the world a better place with reference to public health, then make those assignments very intentional and write about it. That way you can use those things and those items to your benefit once you start out on your public health career. And of course, if you all have any comments, please leave them down in the bottom below, and we can definitely have a conversation down there. And or you can email me, and of course my information is in the description box. The next point is to take into consideration the cost of your graduate studies, and that's for any program. Now, we are in the age of the internet. In 2021, people are still doing traditional classrooms to a point right now in this moment, but there are folks who are exclusively online with their studies. And so with that being said, either way you look at it, all of it is going to cost money. And I, for one, am not independently wealthy. And so I really did not pay attention to how much my graduate studies or my doctoral studies were going to cost, and it just blew me away. I would encourage you to find fellowships. I would encourage you to find scholarships. I would encourage you to find anything that could assist you with the cost of your education. Let loans be the absolute last resort. Period. The next thing I wish I knew, of course I do this, but there are some folks who are unaware, or maybe they're oblivious, or maybe they're living out in Cinderella world, that just because you have a degree in public health does not guarantee you a job. Emphasis on does not guarantee you a job upon graduation. I have met a number of people, whether they be colleagues in different capacities and or students who are pursuing graduate public health degrees, and they deem it preposterous that upon graduation a job just does not magically appear to them. Like, I mean, somebody just reached out of the sky and said, here you go. You want to work at CDC? Here you go. Which seems to be everybody's plight, and nothing is wrong with that, but you have to do the footwork in order to get to that point. Here you go. It's just not, that's just not happening, folks. You have to do those internships. You have to formulate those relationships with your network. And I would encourage you to network with people who you don't even have anything in common with. Meaning, just because this person is an engineer does not mean that they can't put you in a space of another public health professional. Case in point, I have some friends real good friends that I went to undergraduate school with. and they are physical therapists. His fraternity was doing a health fair, of which he invited me to come and be a panelist, per se. Now, he's a physical therapist. His wife is a physical therapist. I work in public health. There happened to be a lady on the call from the National Institute of Health. Get it out, Kima. Otherwise known as NIH. Had I been looking for an opportunity, here I am. I've been put into a place or a space to have a conversation with this woman just based off of my relationship with my good friends from undergrad. So if you have friends who, or have a network of people who around you who you all don't have to have the same interest in or the same profession or whatnot, I would encourage you to just have a conversation with your networks and specifically your friends, because of course everybody has friends who are in different professions, and that's okay. But just like how that example put me in a space where this woman worked in public health, if I were on the market for a job or anything, I could converse with her because that relationship and that foundation was already there. And quite as it's kept, from that particular panel discussion or opportunity, that speaking engagement, she in turn asked me to present at another event that she was hosting. So you see how those relationships could prove to be beneficial in the long run, and I wasn't even looking for any of that. I just showed up speaking from a public health and mental health perspective for that panel. She happened to be there. We started talking, and one thing led to the next, and she asked me to participate in an event that her sorority was having. Just like that. Boom, boom, boom. It's simple. If you're genuine with your intentions, some of these opportunities will come to you when you're not even expecting it, when it's so unexpected. Gotta stay hydrated, folks. And so, my next point, and this was a hard pill to swallow when I first graduated from my undergraduate degree program, is that not all jobs and salaries are created equal. And by that I mean, I'll give you an example. Here in the state of Georgia, and no shade on Georgia because I worked at a public health department here in the state of Georgia, and I absolutely love my job. But I will say that the education requirements, the job requirements and duties did not match the salary that they wanted to pay me, and the salary that they paid me. They will want you to have everything short of being the graduating summa cum laude from Princeton, Harvard, Yale, that type thing. But not every job will pay you based on what you think you should be making. I'll say that. There are some public health jobs where, if you, depending on where you're going, whether it be the community-based level or the state or local level or the federal level, it really just depends on where you are. I won't even say what you're doing, but where you are, in the capacity that you're serving, and you just can't base it off of what you think you should be making. Somebody fresh out of graduate school for public health, is not going to be making the amount of money they think they should be making. And hell, I've been in public health now for, 10, 11 years. I can't remember. But I can honestly remember the first salary that I made fresh out of grad school was something like $34,000. And to some people that may be a lot, but I know in my home state of Florida, if you're coming out of graduate school, pending your position, some of those positions are at like $28,000 a year. And Florida, don't get it twisted, has some great benefits for working at its state health department. But the overall salary for what you're taking home each day, and I'm just using it as an example, I'm definitely not bashing state of Florida. I love Florida, from Florida, born and raised. But you just have to realize and set realistic expectations for what you plan to make when you're coming out of school. Now, there's no one size fits all scale to use to determine what you should and shouldn't be making, but just be realistic and do your research on the average salary for the position that you desire. I will say that. And just don't be shocked if they shoot you with something or hit you with something that says, oh, well, we want you to have a master's degree and 3 to 5 years of experience, but we're only going to pay you $36,000. Just don't be alarmed. Do not be alarmed. Another thing, some of us, I won't say that this was something that I didn't know because I knew this, but another thing that was brought on by some of my folks in public health was they wish they had known the importance of doing an internship. Now, pending what graduate program you complete, some require capstone projects, some require internship / volunteering, some require a combination of both, some don't do any of that. And so I would advise you, even if it's not required by your program, to do an internship in your place of interest. Meaning, if you are interested in the state and local levels of government and the public health department, try to find you an internship there. If you are interested in the nonprofit / community-based organization, try to find you an internship there. If you are interested in the federal government, I know that there are some federal agencies who offer quite a bit of fellowships and classroom, I don't know what they're called. They're not called practicums, but it's something where you come and you work for the federal government and you get class credit. I can't remember what it's called. And so the bottom line is, find your interest, see if you can volunteer, and it doesn't matter if it's only once a week. It doesn't matter if it's only on the weekends. It doesn't matter if it's only at night. Find yourself an internship and get you some experience. That way you have ample opportunity to build those networks. You have ample opportunity to build your portfolio, and you have a number of opportunities to find yourself a mentor, because mentorship is definitely important. There are a number of people who have done this and walked this road before you, and not to say that your road will be the same or similar. Your mentor can just provide you with some insight on things that they experienced and kind of share that with you, and you can use that to your advantage too, on how you, or I would say on your decision-making process on what you want to do and hope to accomplish as a public health professional. Lord, I hope I ain't talking too much. I hope y'all are actually getting something from what I'm saying. Hold on, let me get hydrated. Hold on, I feel like something in my eye. And so I actually just touched on the next point of things that we wish we knew, or things I wish I knew, or things that some people should know before they pursue their graduate degrees in public health, is the importance of a mentor. I just pointed out that mentors will give you advice, share their experiences, provide recommendations, but ultimately influence your decision or not on what ultimately will be your decision. It's yours to make. It's yours to make. And I think I already talked about this one as well, and the importance of volunteering. Even, I know for me, I did a practicum. I had to do a capstone project, and I volunteered. I volunteered and did my practicum at the same space. So even when I wasn't collecting hours for that practicum requirement for my graduate school program, I still volunteered with, and I'll give some insight on that. I did my practicum / capstone project because both of them were intertwined at a community-based organization in the west end of Atlanta, Georgia, surrounding HIV and women of color. It was one of the biggest eye-opening experiences I've ever experienced. in my life. I wouldn't take that experience back for nothing. For nothing. Let me tell you something. If it wasn't for the pay, because it really didn't, if I were to pursue that full time, it wouldn't pay me the way that I think that I would want to be paid. I would still be there. I would still be there. I would still be there. And lastly, throughout the duration of any graduate program in public health, there's an extensive amount of writing for your coursework, writing for just everything is writing. They're trying to see how you synthesize information, if you're able to make it clear and concise, those type of things. And you will hear that a lot if the further along you go, not only in school but in your public health careers. Please be attentive to your writing. Pay close attention in details. Put a lot of detail into your writing, because pending what you choose as your career path in public health, writing is important. And even before you even get into that public health, your desired public health career, you have to compose a cover letter. You have to write a resume. At some point, you'll switch over from a resume to a CV, which is a curriculum. I never get this pronunciation of this word correct. Vitae. Excuse me. And you have to be able to convey a message about who you are. And so it's very important at your university. You can Google everywhere. You can Google everything. Please pay close attention to your writing, and make sure that you are working to improve those skills, as they will be very important throughout the duration of your public health career. And so, with that being said, that is the end of this particular list. The list is actually longer, but I didn't want to make this video 17,000 miles long. But these were the ones that were stated the most in some form or fashion. And I just wanted to share those with you, just in case you are considering pursuing a graduate level degree in public health. I won't say that the road is easy, but it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. All that being said, like, comment, subscribe, leave your comments down below, and we'll chat with you soon.